he's 10 years older than I am, so I was 18 then, and I saw him from time to time, though he might not remember it. He knew my first stepmother very well. She was a wonderful woman in theater. And when I saw this was my chance to work with him, I thought, this is really terrific. And the parts that Shana had written, you know, I thought, he's great, and I play this character, and this is going to be wonderful. And because I've known him, you know, I met him first when I was 18, I'll have that to use. Yeah. So when that scene happens and I'm throwing my arms around him, it's really, you hail fellow well, man. Really good to see you again. And that worked for Shana. It worked for me too. And so Vera's right. He is the card. He's very funny, and that's good. He keeps his energy flowing, and he did for us. So when that moment came, which I'm sure came for you several times, where Shana said, okay, she knew she had what she needed for editing, but she'd just take it where you want to. Actors who love acting really love that bit of, just take it where you want to, because we already know what she wants, and we know what we're supposed to be doing, so you don't really have to act, you can be, which is a great thing, different. And we did this thing, and we were just riffing, it was all going really well, and this wasn't part of the scene, but I'm up on the wall, and now it's in the picture, I'm up on the wall, and the kids are saying, oh, you know, we'll give them weed the money. Where's the weed and the money? I said, I'm fucking stoned, how would I know? And Vera's back in the camera starts laughing. I said, oh, right. That was very sweet that you laughed then. I thought,
what I really liked about this movie was the fact that it didn't follow a lot of stereotypes. For instance, the free spirits in the movie were actually the people with a lot of life experience, and normally you see like the reckless behavior from young people in movies, people on spring break, those kinds of things. So my first part of the question is, in terms of that carefree spirit, what inspired you? Because you played sort of like the moment of levity in the film with in the midst of a lot of dysfunction. What inspired you the most looking back on your life? I mean, you're obviously known for a very well-known road trip movie, but bringing this character to the movie, which was it based on anyone real? Did you talk to Shana about?
No, I just read the character that she had written. Okay. It was really well written. It was a full character, and knowing what I could bring to it with Christopher was a gas, and realizing we had to get it done, we just couldn't be just goofing off. It turned out we were goofing off while we were getting it done. It was hysterical. I mean, when we're down there and Christopher and I are vaping, and there's a ring in the doorbell, the masseuse, and he said, when does Joey have to ever, pay for somebody to go touch his body? And my line, ever since my pubes truly gray, and that was fine. But it was when I was walking out, I couldn't walk out. I had to crawl out, and I'm crawling with the vape pipe in my mouth and talking like I am, just taking a hit. Wait, I'll be right back. And everybody started cracking up behind the camera. That's a really great thing when the definition between in front of the camera and behind the camera melts together. And the people behind the camera is much into the scene and having as good time as you're having. That's a great feeling. So I got to do all that and get paid and have free food. Hey.
What's the best road trip you've ever been on? I'm sure we'll be asked this question a lot. Anyone can answer this.
I've never really been on a road trip, to be honest.
Is it an American thing, road trip?
I think probably more so. Although not necessarily. I guess I live in Scotland, so after you've driven for about an hour, you reach the other side of the country. So, I'm not sure I really speak on that, to be honest.
Oh,
How about the rest
80s, 1980s? Irvington, New Jersey to Miami Beach, Florida, every summer. June, one way, August, the other. Oh, yeah.
And who would you go with?
My mom, my dad. It was 4 of us back, 7 siblings now. It was 4 of us originally, and then they took a hiatus for 12 years and 3 more. Wacky people. But it was an uninsulated blue van, so you could feel the heat of the summer and the stench of the makeshift toilet, which was a 5-gallon bucket with mushrooms painted on it. would try. My dad tried not to make it as many pit stops when you got 4 kids and having to go to other, you know, at different times. And it would be a highlight when we actually would stop at a Days Inn. And, you know, my parents would have 1 king-size bed, and 4 of us would cram in another king-size bed, and they would give us coins to toss in the bed jiggler.
Oh, yeah. Magic finger.
Good times.
And I'm sure you have some stories.
Oh, yeah. 4 wheels, 2 wheels, foot. Yeah. Yeah. The whole movie's been, the whole life has been this road movie, you know, for me. And sometimes I don't go further than one room to the next, and sometimes I actually go across town, and sometimes across the country. But any good story, play, book, movie, generally is a journey. Whether the journey is within, and as I say, just within a couple of rooms of a house, or like my father's movie, 12 Angry Men in One Bloody Room, there's a journey that happens. In 12 Angry Men, you can see the journey. And Shana writes one that is a journey, actually, and then within it is a journey. The journey bridging the gap between the daughter and the father, and the connecting pin in this sense is the son who's goofing off with grandpa, you know, while she's trying to get everything straight and collecting more dogs. This is all like a wonderful gift of a trip that I get to be a part of. But in this sense, I'm one of the campfires from Easy Rider. They come in here and they do this little thing, they go away, and I'm not part of it anymore, unfortunately. Because I was having so much fun. I could have kept on doing it, but we have to move on to the next campfire.
Well, Henry is sort of looked at as a troubled kid by everyone around him, but he was basically just a normal kid, a little bit too sensitive, a little too arty, a little bit too weird. The pictures may have been a little bit much, but then again, I mean, for a 12-year-old, that's really great artist, but do you think that he pretty much will turn out to be like a normal guy that just...
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I think that at the start of the film, he's very much like what you described. He's quite, you know, I mean, you can see he's struggling at school. He doesn't really fit in. But you know, over that road trip, like Peter was talking about, he himself goes on a journey, and when he meets his grandfather, you know, he suddenly has a father figure which he's never really had, and that sort of brings out. You know, I wouldn't say a different side to him. It's something that's always been there, but you know, Jack really brings it out in him, makes him a bit, you know, really opens his eyes a bit, makes him a bit more confident. And yeah, so I think having had the road trip experience, he's going to grow into a very successful man.
She thinks he's the next Rodin.
That's right. Well, Vera, I'm sure you're a wonderful mother, but you tend to get roles where you play, have children who are a little bit offbeat.
I don't think
yeah.
to be honest with you, I don't think he's offbeat
no,
at all.
he's not
I think he's an artist, and I think he's
right.
in the wrong school system for his strengths. And I don't think he has any challenges, to be honest with you, as me reading the story, but also
right.
playing your mother. I think what she wants to do is advocate for her child, and she can't afford that particular school. So that's what drives her to break down her boundary with Daddy, with Papa Bear.
You call it Papa Bear.
Shana, what was it like assembling this fantastic cast?
You know, it was. I was saying earlier, this is something that I got to choose who I wanted to work with for the first time in my career. I guess I got to do that on my first movie as well, The Greatest, which was my second favorite experience. But you know, this was something that I had never experienced before. There was a day when you were on set, you and Fonda, Christopher Lloyd, Chris Plummer, and they were all sitting next to each other on director's chairs. Yeah. You guys were just having a conversation, and every single crew member had their camera out, secretly taking pictures of them, because it was like 3 unicorns sitting together all at once.
I have that picture up in my office.
Yeah.
In my office too.
It's really cool. It's one of those. I mean, my mother. Oh my gosh, my mother was excited. She's never really been excited about most of my films, but this one she was dying to get on set. Every single day she would ask me, is Peter Fonda going to be on set? She still asks me that, even this morning. I want to see Peter Fonda. So I knew this was going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. And you know, for a director, working with actors like this is just it's a gift. It just makes you look stronger.
I really liked Kristen Shaw as well. She was so offbeat, and yet she was like really in her own zone. She knew it, and she was able to deal with everything. Did she like your sister at all?
That's verbatim. My sister lines exactly from her mouth. If you went to my sister's house, you would see a framed picture of a mother cup crossing the street with her baby cup in her mouth. Yes. But yeah, my sister's always been so wacky, you know, everybody thinks she's wacky, she followed the dead her whole life.
Right.
But she actually knows so much more than I did. She was able to see my father for who he really was so much earlier than I ever was. So it was so easy for me to be like, oh, I have it together. But my sister actually really did the whole time.
For you, what was it like watching this cast interact as in the beginning like near strangers, but then by the end like they're your family? It's like your family on screen. What was it like to see that transformation during the process of filming?
Well, it was just, I think it was really magical. I mean, I remember the first time I met Lewis when we were doing the camera test, and I'm thinking, this is one of the closest relationships that I've ever written between a mother and a son. And Lewis is just meeting Vera for the very first time, and we're going to have to go on this journey. Like, how do you accomplish something like that? And I just remember the physicality of your relationship changing so much. Where by the end, you know, Vera just was like, he was in her arms, and it was such a really beautiful thing to see. And that's what I so admire things that I cannot do. And I'm so closed as a person, I feel like sometimes, and actors are so open, and they're so available. And you guys just embraced it. And you're so empathetic that you were able to just love these characters and then find love for each other. And it was really kind of beautiful to see.
One of the things that stood out for me when I was watching the movie was, you know, like the healing power of having pets around.
Yeah.
Because at one moment, you know, actually more than one moment in the movie, the only thing that everyone in the car, every human in the car could agree on was that they liked one of the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, they bonded with one of the dogs at some point. So can you tell me about and anyone can answer this question, any real life experiences you've had where, like, I felt your character really didn't need a psychiatrist, she just needed her pets. That was her therapy.
Right.
So anyone can talk about it. Even things that maybe happened on set, like unexpected bonding between any of the animals and crew or cast. But anything that happened in real life that you can think of that really speaks to, you know, how animals can bring people together.
Well, I think anyone with any kind of childhood trauma is attracted to animals. Animals were my safe space growing up because, like in the movie, they're the one thing that can never hurt you. And they just are love. They represent love. Loyalty. So I surrounded myself with animals, and I still do. I'm a huge rescuer. And this film was an opportunity for me to shine a light on something that I really care deeply about. But what was cool, you know, everybody tells you, I sometimes teach at the American Film Institute, and that's one of the things we always tell our students: don't work with animals, don't work with old cars, don't shoot multiple locations, don't shoot minors. I mean, like, broke every single rule with this film. But what was really cool to see was the impact the animals had on the cast. You know, you look around, I mean, Loretta, my dog, it was the best 5 weeks.
She's over there.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend to be horrified. Oh my God, my dog's in the couch, get down. She had the best 5 weeks of her life because she was always in someone's arms. And I think, you know, like Lewis said, it's an incredibly stressful environment being on set. So being able to hold this little sweet animal and just totally calms you down. Do you guys feel that way on set?
Definitely. I mean, I think talking about this, forming a bond with one of the dogs. I think I had a special one with every single one of them. And now it was great. I really, that was every day when I went home. I couldn't wait to go back the next day and just say hello to one of the dogs, and that was really great.
Yeah, I love working with children and dogs. You know, as you can anticipate what your fellow actor might do, but you don't really consider what the animals are you going to do. And there were really surprising moments in sort of in the heated tonality of this where, oh wait, my character would be afraid of revving up her engine so much as to disturb her friends, her animal friends, and so all of that shifted performance in ways that I didn't even consider.
Because they reacted to, that scene where you and Christopher Plummer are arguing on the side of the road.
Or running around, like with the pamper pampers, and the frantic. I mean, they would get really revved, and yet we needed Loretta to sit in the back of the car in the sunshine and everything. But they would get up with all the
And then start crying when they heard the pain in her voice.
And yes, and then it was challenging because they didn't get used to it. Oh, they're just pretending. It seemed like after 4 or 5 takes, and then we needed them to do the same thing. It is challenging, but.
Liz, for you, your character gets bullied and harassed throughout the film. What message do you think this film sends about that?
Well, I think you get to see Henry, like you said, he's experienced bullying at school. He's not really in the right place at school. But I think the film gives you an opportunity to see what kind of guy he really is, and if like a bully is looking at him from the outside, they may just see some weird kid who draws naked people and anything. But you really get to see a whole side of him and know that you can't judge a book by its cover, and that I think it really just sends a message that it's not right, and that Henry it's just like anybody else really. It just has his own special way of going about life. I don't know.
And your relationship with Vera comes off as really authentic. How did you guys build that chemistry?
I think we had no rehearsal whatsoever, and I think what we did was we had family picnics where Shana's family and her kids and husband, producer Brian, and I would get together with your dad and you and my 2 kids and my husband, and they'd just come over and we'd have picnics. And he got very close to my kids, and I would send him off to coach Finn's soccer practice, and we just bonded naturally, happened very quickly. It's just it just has to do with openness and willingness. It's that simple.
Just on a little more technical thing, when I first saw the movie, I was surprised by how good your American accent was, because I'd seen you on the Monster Calls. Was it difficult to learn to speak with that kind of a dialect?
I think every accent produces its own unique challenges. I enjoy doing accents. I've only ever done just recently one film in my own accent. Every film I've done has always been in another accent, but I think it allows you to it helps me get into character. I think it just provides another aspect of that character that's different to yourself, and it is difficult at first, but I had a good dialect coach who really helped me, and I'd watch American television and just imitate accents. So it's something I really enjoy doing. I like doing different accents.
Okay.
What do each of you hope audiences take away from this film?
Well, me, I guess, I think in the film there's a lot of second chances, and it's kind of, like Jack in the film, the grandfather, he wasn't really, a very attentive father to his daughter, and so when Henry comes along, that's sort of a second chance for him to be a father, and it's also a second chance for Henry to be a son in a way, because his father's been absent. So I think the film, among other things, it sends a message of people can change and that for second chances.
I hope people rescue an animal after watching the film. I mean, really, that was really one of the goals. To be like, look at all these adorable animals. They're so amazing. You need to go home and take one home. And even with a pit bull, like pit bulls get such a bad rap. People just don't understand pit bulls, and they're such loyal, goofy dogs. So that's why I really wanted to include a pit bull at the very end.
Yeah, look, it's a story about dysfunction, but we put the fun in it. We just want people to have a really great laugh.
Yeah, this is how I feel. It's just a good laugh.
It's a pure drama.
I can have a good time watching the movie. good time taking the journey, seeing the different campfires,
Yeah, roasting some marshmallows.
Yeah.
roasting marshmallows. Yeah.